So today, the lesson of the day is go with the flow. But I think it has to be a little bit more than that, because somebody said that to me today, like, it's important to go with the flow. But I think I did that a lot in my life when I was younger, and I flowed many places. I got into all kinds of situations trying to learn by experiencing life, and it had some benefits and it had a lot of pitfalls. And so I was thinking that there is that aspect of going with the flow, but I think of it more as trying to make my mind more expansive. And in particular, today what I'm thinking about is that I'm thinking about the difficulties I was having yesterday and why, and how, just watching when I get stressed and get so task-oriented that my mind gets really narrow, and then how helpful it was for me to remember that what's more important, and it's something that we've kind of cultivated here, is to think about harmony, that it's more important to have harmony than to complete a task, in the sense of, if you're going to destroy everything by completing the task, what's the point? And so, not that it isn't important to have responsibility and follow through, but there's also a way of moving about that where I watched my mind yesterday, and it only had like two choices, and that's the difficulty that makes it so difficult, and neither of them were acceptable. It went from what seemed impossible to kind of complete, well, if I couldn't do it this way, then why bother? Like, forget it, like, just drop every moment of every aspect of interest, or, just kind of discouragement, I think. And just watching my mind flip, okay, it's got to be this way or that way, and there was like no in between. And so then when I thought about, well, maybe it's more important to have harmony, when my mind's in that state, it couldn't quite go with that. But that was the thing about where I didn't go with the flow. Because if I had gone with the flow, I would have stayed with, well, just forget it, don't bother. And so I think the thing was to realize that all of those mind states were quite distorted, and to go with what had been a clear thought and been that I had thought about before, and which was the value of harmony, and just to keep attuning my mind that way until I kind of worked it out. And then the whole thing kind of dissolved, The thing that you create is this problem with all its walls that box it all in, and it looks just like this, and it's only got A or B, and there's nothing in between. And we all know, because we met a wonderful man during EML, that 2 and 2 is not always 4. There has to be a little more space. I need a little more space than that, and I loved hearing that. I loved hearing how he thought. It was like, that's what I need to do then with my mind. It's like, there's a little more than A and B here. So I think having a higher sense of ethics really helps me more than my old pattern of going with the flow, which led to many interesting dead ends.